Hi, guys. Welcome back. I was always taught growing up that one of the things that helped big countries from warring with one another was trade and commerce, where both countries could benefit from the selling of goods, to one another. These tariff wars that are happening between the US and China are actually straining those relationships. And some people think that a cyber attack is imminent. Check out these videos and tell me what you think.
Yo guys, this tweet is saying that China is going to be restricting exports of 7 rare earth metals to all countries. If that sounds familiar, you're not wrong. Because that's literally the exact plot of Call of Duty Black Ops 2, a video game that was released in 2012. Like, read this. And look at the year they said that this would start. The year 2025, where China and the United States are in a Cold War after China stops exporting rare earth elements. In this future setting, militaries use robotic weaponry, cyber warfare, unmanned vehicles, and futuristic technology. Like, that is happening today, guaranteed for a fact right now. So when I see this, I start thinking of predictive programming, like when the Simpsons were showing 9/11 subliminal messages and all these other little cartoons that talk about it, the $20 bill. So is that just me assigning value to simply a coincidence, or is that something that we should all talk about and be aware of? I have no idea.
So China supposedly has 1 billion people, right? And some people say they might have quite a smaller population, believe it or not. But let's say they do have 1 billion people. A lot of those people are dependent on the US customers buying stuff from China. And if all of a sudden that goes from 100% down to 40% or less, that's going to be devastating to China. The question is, do they consider that fighting words? Let me know your thoughts down below and hit subscribe.
Deteriorating between China and the United States, with Beijing declaring it's prepared to go to war with America. The alarming words reflect China's fury over Donald Trump's trade tariffs.
See, I hear that and that scares the shit out of me. Doesn't that sound scary to you guys? Because the people that are going to feel it are going to be potentially you and me. So here's the question. Have you done any prepping? Do you have excess bottles of water in your house? Do you have some cash on hand? Do you have a bunch of canned foods and non-perishables? Are you prepared to go without the internet for an extended period of time? Maybe we should all start thinking about these questions more.
Chinese hacking group Silk Typhoon have just announced that they are going to go after IT supply chains. They are talking about using IT systems, software development, processes, logistics as a way long-term to break into Australian organisations. So really start thinking about vetting your third parties. And if you're going to save a few dollars getting some Chinese security cameras, then think again. Those Chinese security cameras have recently been used in one of the biggest denial of service attacks the world has ever seen. Maybe spend a few more dollars, maybe spend a bit more time vetting where these products come from, particularly if you're working in privileged access, particularly if you're working on anything that a hacker would deem of value that could impact you, your business, or Australia at large. So this is going to be a scary one that they're moving into this area, and we need to take the first step to stop them getting in.
Does that go back to the Internet of Things? Imagine you've got the best security detail ever, right? And you actually let the bad guys in by bringing in a Chinese vacuum, and the Chinese vacuum ends up spying on you. The rest is history. That is crazy.
The Treasury Department had a cyber attack on December 8th from China. And no surprise here, they access servers through work from home software.
Oh,
So
get
it
back
all
to the
ties
office.
together. We need more people back in the offices, making sure that any communications are secured, any work is secured. And to that, I know the Biden administration has put a huge emphasis on the cyber bureaucracy, but they haven't really done anything about it. And they haven't given any authority to those that are enforcing the standards. So we need to enforce the standards that are set forth to make sure the cybersecurity is truly there.
So the people that work from home think, oh, this is just a bunch of propaganda to get us into the office, and it very well could be. But if you were going to try to attack an organization or a business, it would be easier to attack those of us that are working from home and are vulnerable to clicking on the wrong email. So I can see where they're coming from. At the same time, everybody loves working from home.
Did you guys know that there was a nationwide outage today at all of the DMVs across America? That's right. Until 11:30 a.m., they were unable to communicate with each other. The whole system was down. Now, I've said before that because the World War III ETFs are full of cybersecurity companies, that World War III was going to be a cyber-based war. It's going to look very different than any other war we've ever seen.
I think so too. And here's the crazy thing. We might hear about the war after we're already months or years into it. As a matter of fact, I don't know about you guys, but when I hear about China attacking us 2 or 3 times a year and Russia trying to attack us endlessly each and every day, to me, that sounds like we're already in the midst of the war. And like I said, when you start cutting off business between two countries, it's going to really hurt China quite a bit more than it's going to hurt America. I know you guys don't feel that way, but China gets all their money from the US practically. This is going to cripple them.
And I think that this maybe a part of it. There's also water distribution and water treatment plants that have been affected by cyber attacks recently, and they're putting out warnings to a whole bunch of utilities and other things. But and the hospitals are being attacked, the medical systems, the systems that allow the hospitals and doctors to communicate the information to each other is being attacked.
Didn't somebody attack a Canadian pharmaceutical company as well, or a smaller pharmaceutical company over the last couple years with that ransomware attack, right? I could see a lot of those things happening simultaneously, and that could just be devastating. Okay, now check this out. I would read it to you, but the guy's going to read it. He's got a good voice.
So in a very short time, President Trump's sweeping tariffs reaching up to 104% will hit, with an additional wave of taxes set for May 2nd. These aggressive economic measures strike directly at China's financial lifelines, challenging its global market position. Historically, China has not responded passively to such provocations. With a well-documented track record of state-sponsored cyber operations, Beijing may see cyber retaliation as a strategic, deniable, and cost-effective measures for reasserting dominance. As geopolitical tensions escalate and diplomatic channels strain, the U.S. must brace for a very real possibility of covert cyber offensive targeting critical infrastructure, intellectual property, or financial networks. The next phase of this conflict may not unfold on the battlefield or on the trading floor, but in the shadows of cyberspace. So
This is where you almost hope that we have a uniparty. You know, we argue so much here with the Democrats and the Republicans. I hope when it comes to war that they can come together and come up with a genius plan to take them down if we have to fight them. Let's take them down and let's win. This sounds like it can get really scary for us really quickly. Every time we watch a movie about these cyber attacks, they sound devastating. What if this actually happened?
You see a bad guy, you come in and investigate, track how they got in and what they're doing.
But CTN is very specific to computer networking. We're very focused on preventing other actors from getting into our systems, and on the flip side, getting intelligence through various means for our government.
This is the new frontier. Like, this is the new warfare. You have offensive cyber operations.
We're typically known as a quote-unquote hackers with the Navy.
And then there's defensive cyber operations, protecting the networks, protecting the infrastructure.
We actually have an incident response kit. We'd take it on a site, take traffic from a network, and we'd do analysis based off an incident. I try to make little tweaks to make it even better than what it is.
Cyber changes daily. You have to know how to change with it. You have to have that training, and you have to have the adaptability.
See, this is what trips me out. This is the American Navy, right? This is us. And we're putting this on TikTok, which is technically run by the CCP. So this is our way of saying, hey, these goobers are actually going to be fighting against you potentially in the future. But that's where it's all theater. We already have artificial intelligence that are probably way ahead of the game. I just have a feeling we're already ready already.
Been talking recently about cyber threats and blackouts, like international security type situations where we would have like a complete technological blackout, and like what would we do in that situation, and that it's like a real like international threat, like China or Russia could do something like that to us. But I was driving home from work today and I noticed that my iTunes stopped working, all of my apps. I couldn't make or receive calls or texts, and I saw that like the status I had for like Signal was SOS. And my first thought was not like Russia or China or international cyber threats. My first thought was, oh, this is Trump and the First Lady, Miss Elon Musk, causing us some cyber problems. Like this is coming from inside the house.
See, that's what's so messed up about Americans. When I was younger, it wasn't this bad. Now, Republicans don't trust Democrats, and Democrats don't feel that fondly about Republicans either.
So he said, because of the ongoing trade wars that we have with China, it will eventually affect our ability to import minerals. He also said that we are prepared for a cyber attack, but we are not prepared as a country for cyber warfare. And what cyber warfare would affect is two main industries: transportation, which is shipping and receiving, and the electrical grid. Without electricity, you can't store food. Without transportation, you can't get food. So I'm not a serious prepper, but he was basically just saying it won't hurt to have a stockpile of food that doesn't need to be refrigerated. So I hope that clears it up. But I just know that even though I've never been a prepper, I think I'm going to start heading in that direction.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Again, I'm hoping that us showing a bunch of guys working on cyber, I'm hoping that that's a front, and I'm hoping we actually have the best artificial intelligence on the team. I'm really hoping that's the way it goes. I'm also hoping that you'll hit the thumbs up button on this video and subscribe. And come again tomorrow. We'll watch some more videos together. Have a good night.